I know what you're thinking. You are probably wondering, how the hell did I get in myself in this situation? Well, let me take you way back to before the beginning. Too far back! Too far back! Oh, sorry. Stop! Alright, here we are. This is where it began. Cody! Where are you going, Cody? You're not getting this! What's the special occasion?
I got our stuff back.
Neat! Welcome back to the third episode on How to Make a Movie. I'm Nathan John Rue, and first episode we talked about film ratio on how to work with a camera. Second episode is what to film with the camera. So this episode is going to be dedicated on post-production and all about
Filming goodness.
Exactly! Right, so the basic principles of editing. Firstly, you gotta open Premiere Pro. Then you gotta go to New Project.
Okay.
It's there. And first rule, most important, always give it a title.
GI.
Yeah. So this past week we've been filming on a short film called GI. So you guys are gonna have some exclusive content and VIP passes, and we're gonna use this to edit a film and show you how to do the principles.
Behind the scenes.
Yes, exactly, Bill. Now, you say okay, and then you wait.
Again. Oh yeah. Okay. This will be your interface, your standard interface. This will be your source panel, your program panel, timeline, and media window. Here's your effects window, or effects controls, depending on what side you like to use. Okay, but you can change your setup by going to the Windows, Workspace, and then you have Assembly, Audio, Color, Editing, Effects, Graphics, Libraries, and
Metalogging.
How dramatic. But you can also edit your own workspace, creating it for more efficiency for you. But I'll stick to the basics with all panels so that I can show you. Okay.
First thing you do, you're going to import media. Now obviously, keep all the files. So you have a file on your PC. All the shots, keep it in one file.
Okay, so there's two ways to import media. You can actually just drag and drop your media, or you go down here to this little icons, this beautiful icons, or right click, press import, and there you go.
And you select
Desktop,
GI.
There's a lot of footage. Just select all and open. So after you've imported your clips, don't just go and cut and karate chop everything, and paste wherever you want. There's a few principles you need to understand before actually starting to edit.
What is the role of an editor?
Well, the editor is basically, editing is like the art of selecting, shaping, arranging a series of shots in order to produce meaning and effect.
The guideline principles of editing is narrative motion. Now, what is narrative motion? Narrative motion is what you see in the shot.
To motivate your audience to watch even further.
And it also motivates on how you edit and put the footage together.
So, as an editor, you have to interpret the shots into the story to make the image even more clear.
Exactly.
Editing also goes beyond technical aspects of storytelling.
At the end, it is an editor's job to use the shots to tell the story.
Now that that's over and done, and you understand the role of an editor, let's get creative.
Oh yeah!
Okay, so let's start off by actually, after selecting your clips, double click on it to open it in your source window. This will give you a low quality but idea of what the shot looks like. The whole principle of this window is to make your editing even faster. Instead of dragging it on the timeline and trimming it down to the right size, you can actually do that by looking at your shot and say, okay, I want to start my shot here.
So you put an end point.
Mark in.
Mark it!
Well done. Then you look through your shot and where do you want it to end, and you say,
mark out!
well done. So after you've done that, you can just drag and drop it onto your timeline and it's already trimmed to where you want it to be. Perfect.
Now let's familiarize ourselves with our tools we're going to be using to edit our footage.
Okay, this is our select tool, shortcut V. You can actually just hover over it and to see the shortcuts. The use for this tool is just selecting your footage. The second tool we'll use is the track select forward. This tool helps you actually drag all your footage forward or backwards.
So you don't wind up selecting each one, moving them individually, because that takes way too much time.
So if you see an icon with a little arrow down here, that means this tool actually has a bunch of sub-tools that you can use.
Really? Oh.
Here's the track forward tool and track backwards tool. Basically the same. Second one, we have a ripple edit tool. This tool actually ripple edits throughout the time. I don't use that tool a lot, but what I do use, the ripple edit tool helps you actually rolling all the edits closer with that. Rate stretch tool, this is a fun tool to actually work with for some visual effects. You can actually stretch out your image, making it slow motion. But remember, this is just a cheap way of actually making your film slow. Look at that beautiful slow motion. From here you can actually go right click, speed duration, and maintain audio pitch. This will make sure that your footage is slower, but the pitch of your actor's voice will remain the same.
Martha!
No Martha. Okay. A fourth tool is the razor tool. This tool is used a lot because you're cutting with it. Cut. Like a ninja. When you've done something wrong and you want to undo, you can go up here to File.
Is it an edit? There we go.
Undo. Or you can press the shortcut Control Z. Control Z.
On the keyboard.
Well done.
Sweet.
So now you know the tools. Let's move on to this. Okay, this will be your video slots. All your videos will come in here. As you can see, you can actually mute the video track. That means you can actually close it down. I don't know.
Means you can't see it on the timeline. It's invisible.
Okay, we move on to the M. The M is for mute track. So if you actually want to, if you have layers of tracks and you want to listen to one specific track, you can mute down the different tracks just to listen to the one specific track.
Now for our sponsors.
How long am I supposed to hold this?
I don't know.
Okay. Oh, I'm getting a cramp in my cheek.
Now for some tips. Did you ever have a dream of becoming invisible? Well, I did, and it came true! So, here are a few tips on how Batman made me become invisible. So, this is how Batman made me invisible.
Okay, it's actually a simple trick when you know what you're doing. Okay, so first, get a tripod and a camera. Set it up with your characters. The reason for the tripod is we don't have expensive equipment like this. So we stick to a tripod. You'll need a tripod to get a clean plane. What's a clean plane? It's this. Clean background without your actors. All you do is you do your acting as required, and then after that you get a clean plane without the actors. Try to keep all movements restricted in this shot, because otherwise it will be hell for you in a post. Like this guy moving here. It's a little bit, but you still see it. Okay, so what's gonna happen next? After selecting your footage, you'll put your clean plane underneath the footage you shot. So this is this footage, and this is the clean plane. Okay. So you select this footage, you come down to your effects, and you search keying. Color key. Drag and drop that on your footage. Now you go down to your keying. Now you go down to your keying. So when you're at your keying, you can you see this icon here. Click on it and select the color you want to key. After selecting that, you can select the tolerance, more or less. Start by the frame you want your character to start going invisible. My frame is here. So you press this little clock icon here. This will enable an animation. In other words, a keyframe. This will set a keyframe on your timeline from when to start. So you set your amount to 0. Now jump forward in your timeline to where you want him to be completely invisible, and set another keyframe. Now, if you look at your footage, you'll see it slowly going invisible. Well done.
Well done. Now here's another question. How do you do a muzzle flash?
Muzzle flash, that's actually quite simple after you know this principle. So you'll take your footage and you'll need a muzzle flash template. You can download this for free on the internet. Just a note, better quality muzzle flashes means better quality muzzle flashes in the end. So after you downloaded that, you keyframe exactly the same, the green keyframes, and reposition it in your screen, and there you go. Nice muzzle flash. Note, if you usually do a muzzle flash, play around with the blending modes. This will help you find the right blending mode for the environment and look for one that fits for you the most.
Now that the tips are all done, to finish, if you're done with your edit on your timeline, to finish it all off, the last point you must have is exporting. Now, you may have heard the phrase of where they say that filming can take about a year. Well, it's not necessarily the filming that can take so long, but the post-production, the rendering, the export, the blue line.
Okay, so basically how to export, it's quite simple in Premiere. You can go up to File, Export,
Not import.
Media. This little window will pop up. Now this little window will give you a lot of... I'm sounding like I'm giving piggies. This little piggy went to the market. You went to the mall. So this little window, by the way, this is your exporting window. Okay, this will give you some few options on what you want to export, in what way you want to export.
Raptor DCP. That is cinematic! That is for your information, that is the format you use to show your film in cinemas, as we've learned with We're Brothers and Star Kiniko. However, the basic and the best format to go is H.264.
H.264 is a universal platform format, so it works on Mac and PC. Okay, select your rates. We usually go with a high bit rate just for best quality. Here you can set your output name and
Again,
location.
always give it a name.
Press save and that will export there. Make sure you tick export video and audio, otherwise it's going to export all video or audio. Now we can go down to the effects. This is usually just for advanced editing, don't mess with that. Video, nothing there. Audio, here you have to make sure it's or a Dolby Digital or AAC. We'll stick to AAC for this one. This is also nice to tick. Use maximum render quality to make sure you get quality. After you've done all that and you're not sure if your film is going to be correctly exported, you can look at this detail over here. Okay, you shot at full HD, 25 frames per second. Your sequence is at full HD, 25 frames per second. If you look down here, it will give you an estimate file size on how big your file is. So usually when you export for a client, you'll go down and actually play around with it and see what gives you the best quality and file size. But
And for now, we're going for H.264.
And then you click
Finally.
export. This is the blue line that usually rules your life. It's as slow as... Nathan, how slow is this?
Snails racing.
Okay, so Nathan and I decided we are going to dedicate a month, every month, on one specific topic.
Yes, so the following month is going to be about character development.
4 episodes on only character development. The next month we're going to choose a different topic, and maybe at the end of the month we're going to have a friendly competition, seeing what you learn, what we learned, and how we can improve.
That's all we have for today. Please like and subscribe and follow us on our channel on Facebook and YouTube, and we'll see you again. This is how it looks when editors edit a movie. We're looking for soundtracks. Pretty unclear. Let's see how that sounds. Oh, fuck. Not really. How about maybe? Okay, let's try this one.